Hi, I'm Andrew, and I like to tinker with stuff. And today, we're going to see if we can't get this upgraded a little. So, taking a better look at the box, 3,000 lumens for $7, pretty good deal. Not as good as the LED bulbs I got the other day, but this is great because they're adjustable and they're hardwired to go into the box. So I'm just going to put these up around the perimeter on the inside of my garage and help light when I'm doing work out there. So, okay, so moving on to the actual light, you see it's got swivels, adjusters. Here is the seeing eye that is it dark out or not. Right. Let's open up. Excuse me. Let's open up the inside. See what we got for guts. All right, I've undone the 4 screws in the corner here. As always, my magnetic tray. These screws aren't magnetic, but still, it's better than having them loose. Let's pop this open, see what we got going on inside. Maybe. There we go. So we've got our power in and neutral, our line and neutral for the wall, eventually. Power splits, goes into this controller, comes back out. This here, blue and white, that's our seeing eye. And here's the mini ballast for the LEDs that will control all the stuff that it needs because it can't take straight up wall voltage. So here's a different one I've already started experimenting on. We'll have a look at it. Ta-da! I started working on this months ago before I had the idea for the channel, so I've already done some experimenting. The first thing I did was clip the seeing eye wires and connect them directly together because I wanted to see if that would turn it on, just keep it on. Because that's the thing, these are security lights. They respond to darkness in motion. I want them always on. Flip the switch so I can see what I'm doing. That didn't work. I think I have it backwards in my head. I think the seeing eye creates resistance when it sees. That doesn't make any sense. Light energy. I don't know how the seeing eye works. Bypassing it didn't work. That's all I know. My next step is I think I'm just going to snip a bunch of these wires and feed power directly into the ballast. But I'm not sure what this controller board does. The lights do 2 things. They switch on and off in the dark with the eye, and they have a timer. They only light for like 30 seconds and turn back off, which I'm sure the capacitor and the microcontroller have something to do with that. I'm just going to start stripping this down, honestly, and see what I can get away with not having in here. Okay, so this is our power. Alright, so this comes in here, does something, comes back out. At the same time, let's see it all glued together. That'll help. This also splits and goes directly into the ballast. These 2, I'm assuming there's 2, 1 for each head. So 1, 2. This red comes back out and then feeds these 2 blacks. It goes into the ballast. And we have these tiny, tiny ones that also have some sort of control on the board. So I'm just gonna see if I can pop this harness off. Nope, not really. Let's see what these do. No. Alright. You know what? I'm just going to snip some wires and see what happens. Wire cutters. I'm going to what I'm going to do is feed power directly into the ballast. So I need this And I'm going to use this red wire, so let's snip it as long as I can. Hopefully with the magic of editing, I can make this slightly less haphazard, maybe a little more appealing to the visual medium, my viewing audience. All of you who take the time to very kindly sit and watch me fuck around with shit. Alright. Okay, so I should be able to. Right now there's no power going into the board. Actually, there's nothing on the black going into the board. If I cut this real short as well. There, I'm pretty sure these wires are, this is the pH, you can see photovoltaic, photoelectric, whatever it's called, that controls something on and off in one of these chips. And this says JP1, which I don't know what that means. So right now, all of these mini wires are getting no signal whatsoever because there's no power going into this. So let's just put, let's see if I can, where's my good wire cutters, wire strippers. And I hope to God like this is in the frame. I'm sorry if it's not. It's wrong size. Okay. You know what's coming next. It's fair rules. Get some good connection. So 16 stranded. A little chart here says black, but I had trouble. I'm going to try with a red first, see what happens. Trim that up a little more nicely. Flush. Yeah, that feels pretty snug. If I use my crimper, so that's on there good, yeah. So let's trim off this excess wire that's exposed. Okay, there's one, and this will be our other end. It says 18 gauge. So let's crimp that up. That's on there good. Now, I have my power supply. I don't have a really fancy bench-driven, thing. I do have. It's an extension cord with some Vago connectors. So I'm going to turn the light's going to turn off in a second while I turn off the power strip. Plug in the extension cord. Oops. And let's see what we can do here. Let's just power this up and see if it turns on. Put the connector in here. Clip it down. Good connection. Worst case scenario, I'm out $7 because I fucked up the light. Best case scenario, it's just on. Let's see if that's in shot, but doesn't blind anybody. So 3, 2, 1. All right, it's just on. Oh, and that's the second light. I'm going to turn that one off. That's the workbench light. Sits, obviously, getting light from my fixture here. There's absolutely nothing. I'm just gonna hit pause on the video and let this run and see if it times out. I don't think it will because there's nothing going through the logic board. So I'll be back in a second. All right, we're back. That did not shut off for a good long while, so I'm gonna call that a success. What I need to do now is take out all the extra wires I don't need. So let's take this out. As that used to go to the board. photovoltaic lights don't do anything. Here's our more. So that's the board free. Because I'm learning about electronic components, it's just something I'm wanting to know more about. I am going to take this and desolder it later. It might be a different video, it might not, we'll see. But I'm just going to use this to practice soldering on because that's not a skill I really have, but one I would like. So, don't waste things. It's going to go in the, well, it's going to go in the junk box for now, but junk box with a purpose. Okay, so let's finish cleaning up. I don't need these tiny gauge white. I don't need any of the tiny gauge. I just need the red that feeds the black wires, and then the white that feeds the white wires. So I'm going to take out all of these. I'm sure that this is not intended, obviously, but I'm repurposing stuff that I find cheap for my purposes and learning while I do it. So, you know, if somebody sees this and like I've created a massive fire hazard, maybe let me know. But with my limited understanding, I'm still confident enough that I'm not going to burn the house down, which is, you know, the problem, the joke, or the paradox, I guess. I don't know enough to know what I don't know. I do know enough to know that I don't know stuff. Maybe I'm setting myself up to burn down my garage, maybe not. But this is just 120 volt out of the wall into a ballast controller for these LED lights. I mean, it's a light fixture, that's all it is. All I did was take out the part that makes it think and do things with some programming. So if I just feed these back through here, put these screws back in, I will have a functioning light. Now I bought 3 of these on sale. The 3 of them together were cheaper than 1 not on clearance. So now I have 3 high-powered LEDs that I can use to help brighten up my rather dark garage. We're down in the basement where I've got 6 LED troffers plus one in the utility room. When we moved in here, there were 4 T8 fluorescent fixtures, which did not light down here worth a shit. So one day, when my oldest was taking a nap, and I wasn't at work, I think I had the day off for whatever reason, I came down here and spent about 3 hours putting in these new LED troffers, rewired everything. Nothing's hardwired. Everything is in a box with an outlet, and it's plugged in. That gives me 6 outlets all throughout the room to plug in my vacuum cleaner, you know, the wet vac, shop vac, if I need to clean up a spill, or, you know, who knows what I've got need of an outlet for, but I've got it, and they're there if I need them, which is nice. The old LED troffers went out into the garage, where the lighting out there was even worse. I don't know how the previous owner saw anything. Well, the garage was largely used to store hay for horses, so I guess lighting wasn't an issue, but that is, for me, a workspace. I have a tractor to keep running, or woodworking I'm doing, who knows what. So the more light, the better, the safer my experience out there will be. And I would like to, you know, not die because I couldn't see something. I'm going to double check this one more time that I've got all the extra wires out. So I'm gonna turn off the strip, connect my Vagos. Turns out they are a German company, so I'm gonna say Vago because I like using those German sounds because why not? And then we'll turn the strip back on. Boom, instant light. And that's the second workbench light. So, like I said, I've got 3 of these. I'm going to strip down the other 2. Well, strip down the other one I've got in here. The third one is already installed. My solution then was to just paint this black and hopefully tricking the light into just being on. That works initially. It turns on immediately when you flip the switch, but the capacitor and the microcontroller, whatever's on the board, I don't know the technical words, kept timing out because it's on a timer. So this is always on, steady, nice and steady illumination. So this will be great. I'll get these 2 prepped, swap one out for the one in the garage, and then strip it out too. And after a bit, a future video, maybe I'll show the installation on one of these. But I should have a lot more light in my garage. And thanks for watching, everybody. Bye.